the sip-in, what did I call it? Sip-in style. I hope that you all are having a great week and are ready to just come in and hang out and chat about makeup. And today, in celebration of spring, I thought it would be fun to share the palettes that I own that have green color stories, or at least green in them. Green color stories, or at least I hit mute on that earlier, and for some reason it turned itself back on. All right, anyway, I am still trying to figure out this live on how to get notifications out, and I thought I had it figured out this week. I got it set up to be scheduled, and I did that yesterday, and then apparently I thought I had listed it as public, but it was still listed as unlisted, so I don't think notifications went out. And so anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and start as if we have a room full of people, and then if you catch it on the replay, it won't be quite so weird. Anyway, I hope that you will stick around till the end, because the last palette I'm going to share was actually a subscriber request, and this is all I'm going to give you. You see it? That's all I'm going to show you. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. So let's just dive in. Oh, a couple of rules that I set for myself. The palette had to have more than just one green in it to be considered a green palette. Some of them only have two, but I thought, well, at least maybe they should have more than one. And then, because I have a lot of palettes that just have like one little green in there, but I don't consider that to be a green palette. Anyway, I will just dive in. I have several piles here because some of these palettes are in different projects, and I'm trying not to get them mixed up so that I know that they go back where they belong. And the first one I'm going to do is my Natasha Denona Retro Glam. This one is actually in the palette vault. And if you don't know what that means, that is where my palettes that I use each month, I've started a new series, the palettes I used in X month, and I'm keeping track of what I use, what colors I use. I'm taking pictures of the looks that I've created. And then each month, I'm getting ready to film that actually for February. Each month, I will show you what I used, the looks that I created. And then those palettes are going to go on a palette vacation into a basket. And I can't use them again until I get through pretty much every palette in my stash. And each month I get to pick 3 that can go back in the inventory and be used again. And it might be the same 3 that I used the previous month, maybe another 3, but those 3 have a get out of jail free card and they get to go back and get used again. So Natasha Denona Retro Glam, unfortunately, I can no longer use this palette. Well, I can use some of it, but I'm going to see about trading it or passing it along or something like that, because it has carmine in 4 of the shades, and it's really hard to keep track when you have a palette that you can only use a part of it. And it's also not very fun because it's like this one and this one, probably that one. And then I don't remember, there was one more. It was one of these that you wouldn't think would have carmine because it's not red, but obviously it has reddish undertones. But you can see that there's quite a bit of green in this guy. And it is so pretty. And I'm really sad that I can't keep it. I really don't want to touch it anymore since I know I'm not keeping it and I'm going to pass it along. I mean, I've used it and swatched it and that kind of stuff, but if I'm going to give it to somebody, I'd like to keep it as nice as I can. So anyway, that's the first one, and it is a beautiful palette. I actually think that I may go ahead and get the Sakura palette from Alter Ego. It is a dupe for this, but Alter Ego is vegan, and so I don't have any worries about the carmine like I do with this one. So that's the first one. I'm going to stick this back in the palette vault so I don't forget where it goes. By the way, the palette vault is just a basket. It sounds way cooler than it actually is. The next 3 are palettes that are actually in my palettes I used in February basket. And the first one is Dancing Green. I did a look with this, actually did a video with it. And when I put this up for the replay, I will go ahead and link that video in the cards. This was requested by Maria, and so I did a look with it. And I just love this. It is kind of a grungy green, gives you a kind of a 90s vibe. And it's fun because it has the dark green but then it has a goldish green, and it also has a more silver green. So if you want to have a warmer look, you can use that goldish green, and then the silver green will give you a cooler look. And I think that's really fun. And it just performs beautifully. I have makeup under my fingernails. I'm trying to wipe it off. Okay, this one, this Morphe by Ashley Strong palette. I got this in friend mail. And talk about a grungy 90s vibe palette. This is just gorgeous. It doesn't have really a, yeah, I guess it does. It has a dark green shimmer. It doesn't have a lighter green shimmer, but the greens in this one are, you've got kind of an olivey green right there, and then a deeper green, kind of a blue green that's deeper, and then you've got this deep shimmer. So they're all kind of deep and smoky. And then there's this, whoops, I didn't really want to pick up on my thumb, huh? I thought that picked up better than that. Nope, it's not picking up. I don't pick up hard pan or what? Huh. Anyway, it's a duochrome, and so you can make kind of a fun look with those. There are neutrals in here as well that you can put with that look, but these would make a much deeper, smokier green eye. And I'm going to have to get a wipe. All right, I gotta go get a wipe because I took them in my bathroom. Don't go anywhere. Even though I'm not sitting there, I'm still here. This is probably going to end up being a constant in my lives. At some point, I am going to have to get up and go get something. So I know I did last week, and now we've got it in for this week. All right, now I have a wet wipe. The ones that were in my drawer were all dried out, and that's not very helpful when you need to get makeup off your fingers. Okay. I'm so good at this, aren't I? All right, then the next one is the Alter Ego Artemis palette. And this is a dupe for one of the Natasha Denona palettes, and I don't know which one, but it's one of her larger palettes. There is so much variety in here, and I'm not going to swatch every palette because, well, I don't know. I mean, you're here for girl talk, so maybe I'll swatch them. I don't know. This one is more... Hey, there you are, Christine. Hi, Andy. I'm so glad you guys are here. I am trying to figure out this live thing so that it'll make notifications like ahead of time, and I thought I had it figured out. Apparently I did not, because it did not send any notifications out. I'm glad you guys are here. Yay! We are talking spring and green. So spring brings green grass, green trees, and St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going through my spring green palettes, or just green palettes. Anyway, this one is more of has more olive undertones than the last one I shared, which was more kind of blue-green undertones. So you've got a shimmer right here. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. And then you've got kind of an olivey brown down there. A very dark green right there. And then more of a blue-green shimmer. And I got more fingers on the other hand, so we'll just do that. And then there's another kind of lighter olivey green. Oh, that one's really pretty. Wow. I like that a lot. So anyway, this one is going to give you more of a grungy vibe than the Ashley Strong, which was deep and smoky, but not what I would consider grungy because it doesn't have that kind of taupey, olivey gray tones in it. So these have to go back in my palettes I used in February basket. I'm trying to keep all this stuff straight. Man, Andy, I don't know how you do it with all of the projects that you are in and doing, how you keep them all straight. My brain would be just scrambled eggs. I have been kind of having a moment lately with my Smitten in Switzerland palette. I used one palette in the beginning of March, just the e.l.f., just one of my e.l.f. bite size that I have in a project. Didn't use a palette the next day, and then the past 4 days I have used this palette. Now, I had a different eye look on when I went to work today because I used the blue and this kind of silvery color today. And I realized that if I was doing a look about my green palettes, I probably should have green on my eyes. So when I got home from work, I took the blue off and redid this with green. Anyway, so this one has these 2 greens here that are super pretty. And I used this yesterday and created a green look. And it's very much of an olive toned green look. And then you've kind of got some gold that you can put with it that I think is really pretty. So Smitten in Switzerland was one of the first like real palettes I bought. I first bought London, and then I got this one. And those are the only 2 I had for a while. And you can tell by the pan in those that I used these pretty hard. And it was when I was first getting into YouTube makeup and I wanted some of the, you know, the real palettes, but I couldn't really afford anything. And BH had a sale. And so I was able to get a couple of these for really inexpensive. And I'm just so glad to have them. The travel palettes are so good. I wish when was it Revolution bought them or Morphe? Man, now I can't remember. I think it was Revolution. I wish they would have kept the formula because, man, that was so good. Anyway, I have everything from super drugstore affordable to high-end in here, and we're going to go on next to the Sigma Untamed. And I got this from Jen Phelps when I won her 100,000 subscriber giveaway. And primarily, and this is actually a fairly, I kept the the color saver because I thought it was so pretty. Anyway, this is just kind of a primarily, I don't know, there's just a lot of variety in here. I was going to say it's a colorful palette, but it's kind of a muted colorful palette. And it has these greens and golds right here. So like, I like to look at this almost in quads. If these 4 right here would make a really pretty look. I'd probably also use the light one over here and maybe this to tamper down that gold because this shade isn't super flattering on my skin tone. Any mustard yellow, even like if I wear it with clothing or something like that, tends to kind of make me look a little bit jaundiced and, you know, maybe like I have liver issues or something. But these 3 for sure, I love them. The shimmer is just like next level. So pretty. So that's my Sigma Untamed. And those palettes that I got from Jen were the first Sigma that I'd ever had, but I really do like their formula. It's really good. What are you ladies drinking this afternoon? I have a homemade iced latte. It's just decaf and a silk almond creamer, vanilla creamer, and some almond milk because if I use too much of the creamer, it's way too sweet. So I have to cut it with almond milk. And that's what I'm drinking. How about you girls? What are you drinking? Oh, Christine, you're so good drinking water. I don't drink nearly enough water, but I just don't drink enough water. Do you guys remember the Rimmel Magnifies when these were all the rage back in, 2018, 2019? They came with these lovely little brushes with the applicator on the end. This is the Jewel Rocks one. And surprisingly, it's still in pretty good shape. It's probably something, I have a 2019 sticker on there, so that's when I got it. But this is actually what I have on my eyes today. Hope you can see that. And I used this one here, just in the crease, and then put this to deepen up the crease and in the outer V. I put this shimmer all over the lid, and then I put this shimmer in the outer corner only, and then this one in my inner corner. And I'm really impressed that as old as this is, it still worked so well. I did declutter a couple of my Rimmel palettes, but I still have, I think, 3 of them, including this one. So anyway, very happy that this is still usable. And then let's move on. I just made a stack, so these are in absolutely no order, not ranked or anything like that. The next one is Avocado Toast, and again, this is a BH palette, and it is very much a green color story. It has enough neutrals in there that it can be very versatile. So you don't have to just do green, or you don't have to go all green. You can do the neutrals and then just a little pop of green on the lid or in the lower waterline or something like that. But these are more, well, I was gonna say these are more lighter greens, but you've got more of a kind of a limeish green versus the grungy greens of the other palette. But you've also got a blue green and then an olive green. So it's actually quite versatile and can do different green looks, not just, you know, it's not just one tone. I really, really like green eyeshadow. Andy, I don't think you're not so much into green, are you? It looks really pretty on you, but I think I remember you saying you don't do green a lot. This Lurella, Under the Mistletoe, I got in a Christmas collab where we had a partner and we swapped. We sent a gift to each one, and my partner, Susan's just making it, sent me this one. And this is so fun because it gives a really Grinchy green kind of a look. It's not that olive, and it's, you know, it's more bright, and it just gives, if you're doing a Christmas look, this is the Grinch right there. And I think it gives really pretty. Plus, you've also got the gold in the center, kind of a yellow gold. Hello, how are you? And Pajama Mama, I know I've asked you over and over, can you please tell me your name again? I apologize. My brain is terrible with names. I tell people when I meet them, you can ask me 3 years from now what my name is, and I will not be upset with you because my brain just doesn't hold on to names. Anyway, so that's the, thank you, Elizabeth. Do you go by Liz? Because I think maybe I remember you saying Liz once before. But anyway, thank you. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. So there's the green from Under the Mistletoe. Very Grinchy. I'm writing down Elizabeth because I don't want to forget it again. We are talking about all things green palettes today, Elizabeth. I've been through quite a few, so okay, good. Liz is fine. So you might have to go back and watch the beginning of the replay if you want to see what we've already talked about. The next ones are going to be 2 little e.l.f. palettes, and I see on my computer that it's kind of spinning, so hopefully it will come back and you won't miss anything. But the first one is the e.l.f. Hot Jalapeno. Well, I'm glad that I could give you a break from your vacuuming. Yeah, I'm still working on figuring out how to get notifications to go out ahead of time. And I think I figured out what I didn't do. So next week, I'll try that next thing. And hopefully I will have unlocked the secret code. So the Hot Jalapeno is just such a pretty, pretty palette. I usually use this one and wet it and use it for eyeliner. But I also use it to deepen up the crease. I do generally bring in a companion palette to this because these shades are all pretty deep. This is the lightest matte, and then these 2 are both shimmers. So in order to do like a transition or a setting crease to brow bone, I will bring in maybe the I Love You a Latte or something like that to do a companion with this. Are you guys there? Because I'm gonna. So I don't know if everybody can still see me or not, but I'm just going to keep going as if you did. And if you can't, let me know. The next one I have from e.l.f. is from their Mint Melt collection. And this one is obviously, as it says, a more minty version. I love this one in the springtime. It has that really pretty transition shade, and then you can deepen up with that one. And the shimmers are a little, that one is pretty pigmented, but this one is a little bit more of a topper shade. However, I also have the No Budge Shadow Stick in the Mint Melt collection. And if you put that on first and then put the shimmer over it, it gives a whole lot more punch. So I love doing that in the springtime. I'm going to be decluttering those shadow sticks, pot shadows, single shadows pretty soon. And man, I'm not really looking forward to it because it just, I've been putting it off and putting it off because it really seems like a major monumental undertaking. It's probably, I probably built it up more in my head than what it's going to be, but for now it seems pretty big. I'm going to see if I can reload that on my laptop to see if it's still, if it's actually going. I think it is. I think it is. All right, moving on. I have this Moira palette. I love Moira shadows. Have you guys tried them? I have them usually sitting like books on my shelf here because they're so big. There's one missing because it's in my palettes I used in February box. You'll see that soon. And then this is the other one. I have 4 of them. This one just screams mermaid. You want to be a mermaid? This is the palette that will do that for you. It's so pretty. It has kind of more of a minty light shade here, and then this is so pretty. The first 2 Moira palettes I bought had more of a toppery finish for the shimmers. They were light and really didn't have a lot of pigment, just had some sparkle. But these are much more pigmented. And then there's this dark one over here that is just stunning. Wow. And I know this isn't green, but another shade in here that is absolutely gorgeous is this one right there. These are, they're just beautiful. Well, okay, since we're doing that, let's take a look at, since we're going more than green, you guys have to see this one too. Look at that. I'm going to have to dig this out. I'm going to have to use this because I haven't used the shades in here in a while and I forgot how absolutely stunning they are. So I am going to make sure that I have one of these green palettes on my eyes on St. Patrick's Day because I don't actually have like green shirts really. I guess I have one olive green. I could wear that one. But if I have green on my eyes, nobody can pinch me. So I will do something with that. And then, so how's everybody been? How's your week going? It's midweek. What you up to? Andy, are you off work, getting ready for work? Usually you're sleeping right now. Or are you usually awake now? I don't know. Anyway, how's everybody doing? This palette, this Cara Duo is, what is it? I can't remember the name of it. Say Hello. This is the only rainbow palette that I kept in my declutter and palette collection that I did last February. And I realized that even though it's only been a year, my collection has kind of changed a lot since then. So if you want to see another palette collection, let me know and I will see what I can do about filming that. But this one has 2 rows of green. And this one's kind of blue-green. This, if my daughter were here, we'd probably get into a discussion about whether this is blue or green. but I feel like these up here are more green and then they kind of morph into blue. But these are definitely green in this, although they do kind of fade to yellow. So you have more of a yellow green and then more of a blue green. And thank you, Liz. So these are fun for just really spring and summer. I haven't pulled this one out to use at all this fall or winter, but I use it in the spring and the summertime a lot. It's when I'm more likely to reach for a pastel palette. This is one of my newer palettes I got last summer. This is the Blessed palette. It's Mary from Glitzy Fritzy, her collaboration with Sydney Grace. And this and the Be Mine are the first Sydney Grace palettes I've purchased. And oh my goodness, do I love this palette. I just watched, actually this morning when I was getting ready for work, Mary has a video, and I will link it after I'm done with the live, on St. Patrick's Day looks with this. And it doesn't look at first glance like a green palette. She did such a pretty green look. This one right here, this duochrome, definitely shows up olive green. And then So Mary and My Buttercup, lean green. So with those, you could definitely get a nice green look for St. Patrick's Day and nobody would pinch you. Okay, I've only got 3 more left, so we're going to get done here pretty quick today, I think. The next one is the Galaxy Chic, and these are all, this is also from BH, and these are all mattes. The only ones in here that are truly green are these two right here. I'm sorry, they're not all mattes, they're all shimmers. You guys need to let me know when I say stuff like that. Although with the lag, you probably just now heard it. But those are more of a minty, icy green. And this palette I love when I'm doing an eye look and I just can't quite get it to do what I want it to do with the shimmer. If I pull this out, this one or my BH Zodiac palette, I can find a shimmer in one of those 2 palettes that will do just about anything I want it to do. So anyway, love this. And then my beloved Ghost Town palette. My husband got this for me for our anniversary in November, and when I saw it, I was like, oh man, I want that palette, but I wasn't going to spend the money for it. And he decided, and I was talking about it, and then on our anniversary, he said, hey, come over here, and sat me down at the computer, pulled up the Nomad site, and said, pick a palette. And so this is the one I picked. Anyway, so they definitely have greens in here. This like little quad up in this corner is green, and it's very much the kind of the olive grungy green, and then the shimmers there, and it also has kind of a bluish gray green as well. So anyway, that one I have done a green look with that. I don't remember if I filmed that. I know I filmed with this palette, but I can't remember if I did the green look for the filming. Anyway. All right. Are you guys... Wasn't it? He's a pretty good guy. We were married 33 years in November. Can't believe it. I think about things from like early in our married life, and it just seems like 3 lifetimes ago that we were those people. Sometimes it doesn't even seem like that was me. Do you guys feel that sometimes when you look back on like your early 20s, your mid 20s, wondering like, who was that person? Anyway, sometimes I just get a little bit nostalgic, I guess. All right, I promised you at the beginning that I would show you my new acquisition. I found this at TJ Maxx, and there's a story behind it. My daughter's friend also watches my videos, and so does her mom. Hi, Maya. Hi, Erin. And we know them in real life. My daughter dances with her daughter. And anyway, they were at TJ Maxx last week, and she sent a picture to my daughter and said, your mom should get this palette and do a video on it. Well, when we were at TJ Maxx this week, I saw it and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get that palette and do a video on it. So what palette did Maya say that I should get? The Shrek palette. It is, I love it. Okay, first of all, the fact that it is in the shape of the ogre head. It comes in, it came in a box. Oh, by the way, this is I Heart Revolution. It came in this box. It was $12.99, and which is, I think, is a great price. There were a lot of them, so I was able to find one that was still sealed, hadn't been messed with. If you notice, looking at it now, my daughter, I'm going to take this off. My daughter did swatch some of the shimmers, so if you notice fingerprints in there, they're hers. But look at that. Isn't that amazing? Also, I'm going to blind you guys for just a second, but the mirror is fabulous. You can see all my filming equipment. You can see your whole face in this thing. It's super clear, and like if you needed to do your makeup on the on the road or in a hotel room or something, this would, like, you could prop this up and it's perfect to do your makeup in. Also, it flops over so that it's not in your way if you're not using it. So I am going to swatch a few of the mattes. I'm gonna take my watch off because I'm actually gonna like really swatch on my arm and stuff, because I have not touched this yet. Like I said, my daughter did, but I have not touched it yet. And I am going to do a few of the neutrals and the green mattes, and then we'll do some of the shimmers. So let's swatch. All right, I'm going to pick up this lighter one. They're really soft. Sometimes it can be hit or miss with Revolution, but these are nice. And let's do, I want to see this one if it's different. Sorry, I should have been showing you what I'm grabbing. All right, so I grabbed this one, this one, this one, and that one. So there's that. And that's like almost exactly my skin tone. I love when a palette has that. It's a beautiful transition shade for me, for my skin tone. Nice light green. And then the darker green. All right, let me go into a couple. I want to get this dark green and a dark brown before I move into the shimmers. Dark green. Oops. How about the orange too? Let's do the orange, rusty orange, and the dark brown. I mean, look at the pigment on those shadows. That's insane. And then there's the dark green. That was just one swipe, you guys. You saw that. I didn't build that up or anything. Orange and the dark brown. Wow. Okay. I just saw my puppy outside. She's running around. We have a farm, so she just runs around and lives her best life all day long. All right, so let me take those off my arm, and then we'll do some shimmers. This is seriously a cute, this palette is seriously cute, but it's also amazingly good quality. Of course, I haven't put it on my eyes yet, so it is a little bit powdery. So this is one that I may want to do my eyes first and not before I do my face makeup. All right, let's do a couple of shimmers. Grab this right there. And then a green, since we're talking greens today, and that green. And this one over here looks like it might be a duochrome. So let's see what we got. A little bit, yeah. It shifts a little bit gold and green. So that's what I got on shimmers. So here we go. Oh, it's still a little wet. I'm gonna dry my arm. Okay. Here's the gold. It's actually pretty pigmented. It's just a light color. So my lights back here, you can see it better up there. My lights in the back are kind of blowing it out a little bit. So there's one of the greens. Some more olivey green. And that's that duochrome. All right, let's get some deeper colors. There's a really bright green. The palette rotation is going great, Liz. That's why I was talking about that. Oh my gosh, I have glitter everywhere. I need a new, apparently I need a new makeup wipe. I have, oh, let me get it out. This is my basket of palettes that I used in February, and that's actually going to be my next video that I film, and it'll be up next week. I try to get it up at the beginning of the month, yeah. But there was just too many things that were going on, so it'll go up next week. Anyway, so yeah, all of those palettes except 3 are going to have to go into the palette vault, and it's really been forcing me to see what I haven't used in a while, because I'll go to look for a palette and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that one. So it's going great. It was a really good idea. I'm glad I'm doing it. All right, let's do the bright green over here. Oh, wow. That is super green. And it was also really soft. I don't know. Can you see the divot already in there? It's a really soft one. Deeper brown? Sure, let's do that one. That almost feels like a cream. Huh. And then let's do this down here that's really sparkly. It's kind of a sparkly black. And this gold. We'll do the gold. So the shimmers, these especially, are super soft. Like where I put my finger in is quite it is a perfect St. Patrick's Day green. So let's swatch that one. Yep. St. Patrick's Day all the way on that one. That's a really pretty brown shimmer. And then that black has some shift in it. And then just a yellow gold. So those are the shimmers. I think I got them all, actually. Yeah, that's all the shimmers in there. So for $12.99, I just want to say thanks, Maya. I am going to be really glad to have this palette and to play with it. And I think Shrek is probably going to be my choice for a St. Patrick's Day look. So that'll be coming also, later in the month. It'll be before St. Patrick's Day, though, because I always feel like if I do a holiday look on the holiday and you're looking for a holiday look, you might be looking before the holiday. There's a lot of holidays in there. Maybe a drinking game. Every time Tina says holiday, you get to take a shot. Okay, so those are all of the green those are all of the green palettes that I have out for today. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you'd like to see before we sign off? Because I'm more than happy to take questions, and there's always a lag between me speaking and you guys hearing me, so I'm going to give you just a second to respond to that. And like I said, I've got a couple things coming up. I have my Lippy declutter that I'm in process of editing, and I'm hoping that will be up on Friday. And then I'm going to be filming the palettes that I used in February. And got a couple other things. I have a collab coming up on the 17th. And so, yeah, I hope you guys are all stick around. If you're new and you just kind of caught this live on the replay, then I hope that you will subscribe and set those notifications and turn them to all so that you can catch my uploads and that you'll go and watch something else. That would be great. So, I guess that is... So I think that I am going to just sign off then. We could Midwestern goodbye this forever. That's one of my biggest challenges in my videos, is just saying goodbye and turning off the camera, because that's not how we do things around here. Yeah, okay, Liz, that's a good point. And I'm not going to go away yet, because I wondered about that too. When I get to the end and it's all of the palettes that I avoid, am I going to be strong enough to declutter those palettes? because I obviously I want to make sure that I'm not something just because I forgot it's there, and then I use it and I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. But if I use it and I'm like, yeah, I see why that was stuck at the bottom of the drawer, I really want to challenge myself to declutter those palettes, because I know I'm going to be buying more palettes, even though I'm really trying to hold back on that and not purchase a lot. In fact, I'm really proud of myself because I think the only thing I've purchased this year so far is 2 foundations to test for you guys. I'd have to check that because that might not be completely true, so don't hold me to it. But if I'm not using something, then I need to pass it along to somebody who will, or if I'm not using it because it's old and it's not performing, then it needs to go in the trash. So that's kind of my goal with this rotation, and forcing myself to use all of my palettes before I allow myself to use the ones that I just love and want to use over and over again. But the 3 get out of jail free cards that I'm able to use each month make it so that I don't hate this project and just quit because I can't use the palettes that I love. So anyway, I thought that was a good balance between putting them away, but making sure that I could keep a couple of my favorites. Oh, I could see where that would be a problem, Liz. Yeah, having something to match what you're wearing. You know, at the end, it may be that you need to tweak the rules a little bit. And if that's the situation, that you allow yourself to pull one out for that day, but then it has to go back away or something like that. I'm not there yet because I still have plenty, but I could see that could be an issue, and I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, because I'll be watchful for it, and then maybe I'll have a plan to deal with it. So. Anything else before we go? So Andy, you're getting ready for work then. And Christine, what are you up to? You've been awful quiet over there. Are you working on editing or something while you're watching? I'm using my snowman Christmas, what do you call these, tumblers that my daughter-in-law made me, and I'm gonna have to get her to make me one for spring because it's about 75 degrees outside right now, so my snowman's a little bit out of place with the way it is outside right now. The grass is greening up and spring is definitely looking like it's on the way, so I'm so happy because I do not like winter. But all right, guys, well, I am going to finish this up. I appreciate you coming, and I'm going to really try hard to figure out the whole notification thing by next week. I will try on Monday to set up the live and see if it gets a couple of days notice that people will get notifications, and maybe we can get a bigger crowd here, because that would be so much fun. If you have suggestions for what you'd like me to talk about next week, put those down in the chat. And yeah, Liz, overcrowding is definitely a problem, and that's one of my goals too, is to make sure that what I have fits in the space I have for it, and that I don't just like try to find more space, because I don't need more than what I have. I just need everything to fit. So thank you all for showing up, and like I said, if there's anything you want me to talk about next week, put that down in the comments here in the chat after it goes to the live replay, or you can go over to my community tab and pop it over there. So bye everybody. Thanks for showing up, and I will hopefully see you next week. Oh, I'm supposed to say my ending. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.